closest one to lead. Altitude holding at 22,000. Engine steady.
Roger, Fortress 1. Keep her in line. Weather looks clear over target.
Copy that. She's purring like a kitten.
Imagine being trapped inside a metal ball, barely big enough for your body, hanging beneath a roaring B-17 flying fortress, 30,000 feet above the ground. No parachute, no escape, no mercy. Enemy fighters swarm below. Your crew flies on above, and if something goes wrong, you might be left behind. This was not a job. This was a nightmare. This was the life of a ball turret gunner. Out of the 10 men in a B-17 bomber crew, one position was feared above all others: the ball turret. A small sphere of steel and plexiglass hanging from the belly of the plane. Its purpose, to defend the bomber from enemy fighters attacking from below. The crew called it a flying coffin, and not without reason. Inside, the gunner curled into a fetal position, knees pressed to his chest, arms holding twin .50 caliber machine guns. At 25,000 to 30,000 feet, temperatures dropped below -45 degrees. Wind howled across the plane's hull, and oxygen thinned with every foot of altitude. The B-17 was a marvel of engineering. But like all machines, it had flaws. The underbelly was its blind spot. Enemy pilots quickly realized this. Flying beneath the formation, they could fire straight up, targeting the soft metal of the ball turret. Initial solutions involved remote-control turrets, but in the chaos of combat, they failed too often. The only solution, a human body trapped in metal, to defend the plane at its most vulnerable point. And so, the Sperry A-2 ball turret was born. Entering the turret was a meticulous process. The plane had to reach a safe altitude, usually above 10,000 feet. The gunner manually cranked the turret into position. Only then could he squeeze himself inside. Once inside, there was no standing, no stretching, no comfort. Arms and legs pressed together, head tucked down, guns aimed from between the knees. 8 to 10 hours of mission time spent in absolute confinement, surrounded by nothing but cold metal and the ever-present threat of death. Electric-heated flight suits were the only defense against frostbite. If the power failed, the gunner froze. Oxygen was limited. One portable tank lasted only 2 hours. Long missions meant coordinating mid-air tank swaps, while enemy fighters strafed the bomber relentlessly. There were 4 scenarios that often meant death for a ball turret gunner. Enemy attack. The turret dangled like a target below the plane. Anti-aircraft shells exploded near him. Fighters aimed directly at his blind spot. Thin aluminum and plexiglass offered almost no protection. Mechanical failure. Turret rotation depended on electricity and hydraulics. If systems failed, the gunner could not exit. Trapped as the bomber burned or plummeted. Belly landing. If the plane lost its landing gear, the first thing to hit the ground was the turret. No chance of survival. No parachute. There was no room for a parachute inside the turret. If forced to bail out, the gunner had to exit into chaos, find his parachute, and deploy it, all while the plane may be on fire or spinning out of control. Enemy fighters targeted the ball turret first. They knew its weakness. Every attack was deadly. Gunners fired back, tracking targets while spinning 360 degrees, sometimes blind, sometimes freezing, always under extreme pressure. 1 second too slow, one miscalculated shot could mean death. Many survivors said the worst part wasn't bullets. It was the silence between attacks. The long stretches of waiting, alone, inside a metal sphere, far below the rest of the crew, wondering if today would be your last. Claustrophobia, panic, frostbite, all compounded by the constant awareness of mortality. Sergeant Maynard Smith. On his first mission, the turret's electricity failed. The cabin above was on fire. 3 crew members bailed. Alone, he fought the fire, administered aid, manned his guns, and saved the plane. He later received the Medal of Honor. Sergeant Alan McGee. On his 7th mission, he was injured inside the turret. His parachute was destroyed by shrapnel. An enemy fighter tore through the plane. He fell 20,000 feet and miraculously survived, landing atop a glass roof. The story became known as the Saint Nazaire miracle. For every Smith or McGee, there were countless others who didn't survive. Being a ball turret gunner wasn't just a job. It was a test of human endurance against machines, against cold, against death itself. These men weren't heroes in movies. They were terrified boys, forced to climb into flying coffins so the rest of the crew could live. Yet history almost forgot them. Their stories buried, hidden in the footnotes of war. So, the next time you look up at the sky, remember the invisible warriors, the forgotten souls trapped in the cold, spinning metal spheres, defending a world they barely understood. If you want to uncover more untold stories like this, stories of war, survival, and forgotten history, subscribe to Lost Chapter, turn on notifications, and join us as we open the chapters history almost erased. Some stories must never be lost. This is Lost Chapter.